coming up with. Autodesk is now coming up with new links where actually they are trying to make strategic partnerships. So rather than they're acquiring all the time new software products, which I think very interesting, they try to make a direct integration and the direct links with the other software vendors. So they can actually invest and they can continue developing themselves, but at the same time Autodesk can really benefit from this type of links. And this is, I think, one of the such things, because Origo Software Masterworks, where they try to link with the BIM 360 and Revit and Civil 3D and AutoCAD and InfraWorks, and I tried to go into the Origi software product, and it's really interesting because I see that it's a lot of like about the management portion, where you can do a lot of like advanced automation, where you build and control different ideas and aspects of the building. You can do custom forms, and you can do AI insights, like AI data into it, and where more and more integrations like this puts the vendor in a particular position, and that people will try to use it more and more because there is a more collaboration directly within that, or more integrations. Like Slack, for example. Slack has a lot of integrations, so almost endless integrations. That's why people want to use it, because anyone can use Slack and integrate with their current workflow. So the next one I will be talking about is the Intelliwave technologies and the SiteSense. This is about more on the construction site management and maybe also bill of materials management and other stuff. So if I go to their website as well, like Intelliwave, again, this is another integration directly. Let me just double check. Is it integration? Yes, there's an integration with them, not acquisition, because they, as I said, they are trying to make a strategic partnership as much as possible. And this is about material inventory management, tools and equipment management, and workforce planning, and track and trace. So directly linking with BIM 360. That is really awesome, because BIM 360, as Autodesk just recently stated, it's a construction cloud. So they want to actually take it throughout the entire life cycle. They don't want to do it only on the design side. They want to actually bring the contractor, bring the subcontractors on board, bring the site information going on with the design team. So to make it more integrated approach, that is what they're aiming for. And more integrations with different vendors will allow them to get this on board. And the next thing is what I would like to mention. I don't know if you know that the Notre Dame Reborn project is actually done through Autodesk. So this is the model by using Revit, I believe. This is a model done through in a BIM environment, so directly with Revit, and where there are a few images, and in 2024 it will be open, most probably, for that's the plan, unless COVID delays few things, but that is the plan to open it again, so for the public within 3 years basically. Actually, this is really interesting to me. So when I saw this, I was like surprised a little, because I'm not used to see Siemens on this platform. I think there are lots of, now the confusion comes here that there's so many products that I actually think maybe I changed this BIM news a little bit, also reviewing the products and depending on like what it gives the most benefit to the audience, to you. So you will need to comment and leave your message if you're watching it live, so I know that whether I should keep this kind of articles or dive deeper into the different products, about, like, for example, a few articles, and dive deeper into products and explore the products with you, and showcasing you, demonstrating basically to you. But this is the Ziko CC. I believe it's like, sounds like Creative Cloud from Adobe, but it is most probably not that name. So it's again, it's like the idea is every platform lately I have been like seeing, everyone is saying that this diagram, like a cloud, a one digital model, and everything is around that. But the real approach of doing this is actually allowing integrations. So the smoother the integration process is, the better it is, the easier to use, easier to merge with other products. And it's not easy because not every vendor will open the API for it. There's a lot of political approaches going on. And the Siemens, I think they are trying to, this is not an integration directly, this is about their system. And I've been exploring a little their system before this BIM news, so before this episode. And I'm trying to understand like what they're trying to really offer to us as an industry. And this is really important to me because many software products, the prices for them and the actual approach is large scale projects. I understand that because the budget is much bigger for the large scale projects, but I'm also really interested to see small scale vendors, small scale projects and small scale companies, because they actually form the larger bit of the industry, not from the economical point of view necessarily, but there are lots of companies. If more and more companies smaller companies uses BIM approach and BIM workflows, the industry will be pushed forward much faster. Because there will be more knowledge, there will be more technical knowledge. Recently, I'm doing a study here for a publication, and that study actually analyzes input of different BIM professionals and mainly BIM managers. And according to the study, it was saying like more people refer the lack of the problem with the BIM implementation is not anymore the soft skills, but rather it's the technical skills. So technical knowledge is the main barrier. That's what's like claimed by the dominant part of the attendees in the survey. And if you think about from this point of view, it's really important that small and medium-sized companies and projects are involved with BIM. It plays a significant role. So I will go to the next one. Over here, this is an interesting one. This is a fun because this one is about the AI, artificial intelligence, that generate 3D objects. Right now, they're doing it only with cars. So I will show you a quick demonstration here. What NVIDIA did is with this GAN software, they have about 55,000 images mapped in their product. So if I scroll down, there's over here car images from multiple locations of the car of different cars, and as soon as you upload an image from anywhere from your library, it tries to find the closest car based on your image, and then it tries to wrap up directly, making a model for you right away. And you can start actually animating it. You can start doing different things. This is really important for ease of animation because we don't necessarily need all the time to perfect the scenes. It can just give the feeling. You can see how the light is even moving. You can do animations. I think this is really going to play an important role when it comes and combines with the architectural visualization or day-to-day visualization. And actually, one of my next articles is also talking about day-to-day visualizations. So here, the idea is, actually, their video was over here as well. The idea is also having this in the architectural visualization, and how can this be interpreted, and how can this actually bring more benefits to the project workflows. So if I go back to the NVIDIA, like if I go to the next article, actually before this article, I want to cover this one. Yes, the different uses of renderings in architecture. You can have a lovely render like this as an end product, but it's also interesting now where we can really use like Enscape or other direct VR products where we can visualize right away. We can see all the details right away. So rather than spending so many hours perfecting the details, now we can get the feeling of the building, get a feeling of the details, how these come together, all the issues, maybe even visual QAs. this way we can really understand that the renderings actually can be used much different point of views and different ways in everyday practice. And if I go back to the NVIDIA, again, they have another interesting thing. It's called Omniverse. And this was interesting because when I read this article, I was like seeing every BIM company, every BIM company actually, has a collaboration with them. So I was like seeing Foster's, I was seeing Bentley Systems, I was seeing Autodesk, I was seeing like lots of other companies here. They have direct integration or collaboration with this product in order to make the real-time visualizations, real-time collaborations. So the idea of this is actually making people more and more easily to connect, faster time like for production and getting into there like remotely, because especially right now I think it's a good move because we don't necessarily have now all the time all the offices in just one single location. It can be very like it can be multiple locations, and the depending on the conditions on the new laws coming for COVID, we can have different clusters, even like multiple, like some people working at home, some people working in offices, maybe even offices can be divided into clusters. And this approach allows multiple people digitally can collaborate together without more and more direct interaction physically. So I think this is an important, and the power of this is being used by the leading vendors in the industry. The next one is harnessing the LODs for BIM 300. Harnessing the LODs for BIM modeling for infrastructures. I would like to say one point over here. If you didn't watch the video already, what I would suggest is you watch the video level of information need of one of our BIM talks with Marzibel Pagni, because we discussed there where LODs should not be anymore used, and instead we should use level of information need. So I think this acronym is really difficult to understand, because even today it's very difficult to say what LOD means, and every country or every location has different LOD idea. So I'm trying to repeat this more and more so the industry can, like whoever is watching this video, can understand that as well, and try to go out of the LOD as much as possible and try to use level of information need. And you can understand more about level of information need in that video. So this goes basically, they divide it into three pieces. One is the main components of the train bridge. So it's like the bridge girders, train rails, piers, foundations, and so forth. And the next part is the rebar modeling and detailing, and the third part is the actual coordination and visualization. So they have divided into three phases, but again, what you need is level of information need explains what you really need as an information in order to achieve successful workflows on such projects. So the next one I will be talking about like, I would say not smart cities necessarily, but BIM cities, because we more and more started generating BIM data, right? So BIM projects in IFC format, open BIM format. It could be not necessarily in the native format of the vendors, and we do not really, maybe very rarely submit those components or models into the council or local authorities, because we most probably go again traditional methods, delivering the drawings and they get the approval, because there's also political side of it. The more information you deliver, I understand on the other side it might confuse them more, or it might mean to the authority more responsibility, because you're literally giving all this information and they need to review all this information if it's passing with the code and perfectly. So the less information that you give, the easier, or like the right, like enough information you give, it's better for them or easier for them to approve or reject the permission. But if we try to get more and more, if these councils really move towards implementing a digital whole lifecycle approach where the digital models are collected from the authority, this can actually mean we can build cities which are smart, and it can definitely be further analyzed through the use of different software products like the digital twins as well. So where cities in live, you can see how it's performing. There are lots of artificial intelligence data can be absorbed from it. You can even see the power levels of like how much energy is being used, how much carbon dioxide is being consumed, and so forth. So I think these goes hand in hand. I definitely think that governmental entities should push this more and more, because if they start requiring these kind of things, it will be available in their platform. Maybe it will be even easier when you build a building just right next door. You don't have to waste time of understanding what's going on. You'll have the right accurate data right away. So we are wasting a lot of time. Like if we are building 3 neighbor buildings, they will each spend the same time, the same effort of simulating or getting the survey, giving the information and so forth of the side buildings as well, and site constraints. But if in reality, if these information is submitted to the authorities, you can actually extract the non-confidential bits from the buildings directly into your projects. And I think this is extremely important part of the digitalization process of the public industry. So again, this is the article. So now next one is slightly different. It is talking about a new, it's not about the related directly with the digital twins, but it's related to directly about the materials in production industry. So they are still continuing, and they found, according to this article, they found an aluminium that consumes 85% fewer emissions. That's amazing. I mean, that's a huge difference, I would say. And by this will allow, this kind of innovations will allow, according to this article, net zero buildings by 2050, or about 35% by 2030. And the next one, obviously, before we have only a few articles left. So before we end this episode, I will want to say that UK is investing now in making different funds available through competition, and one is a resilient time in architecture. So this competition I just came across, and I thought that maybe some people might be interested. And there's also a GB market in the AEC industry report. I think this is also interesting part to review these kind of reports and seeing the latest things. I would really love to hear your feedback and your recommendations for new BIM episodes. If you haven't seen the first 10 minutes because I forgot to click live, I was talking to myself literally. Obviously, I don't think that this live videos I'm managing well. I always do something wrong. So, but still, after the end of this video, you can watch the 10 minutes. I think it was really interesting. I definitely suggest you should watch it, because it was an interesting part of the of few articles there. I think this will spark your interest. And yes, I think this is it. Thank you very much for watching all. If you have any questions, I will keep for next 1 minute for the questions, and after that we will be ending this episode. So I'm just looking forward to the chat if there are any questions coming up. All right, so there are no questions. It was like, let me just do this, and I will cut these pieces. So it was a great talk. It was great news, and I think I hope this article brought a lot of benefits to you. You can watch the other BIM news by going to our channel, or there are a lot of BIM talks and BIM related information, as well as some vendor information like Revit, and you can watch all these tutorials and videos to get the most out of it.